Hello, this is Galen Martling, design team member with Unity Stamp Company. Today I'm showcasing this cute frog and some sentiments. I'm also going to make a scene with sketching for the background stage area, and I'm using from Unity the stamp kit called Salutation Toad. And it's really sweet, it's fun, and it includes a few sentiments. I'm going to make 2 cards, one here in the video, and I'll show a different color option for this card. So for now, I'm going to use one card just for time's sake, but both cards were done in a similar way. So I stamp onto watercolor paper with waterproof ink, and I use a mini Misty for that. I make sure that ink is heat set and really dry. Then I use from Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils set. They have an outliner pencil, and that outliner is what I'm using to sketch sort of a curtain like what you'd see on a stage. And I'm using that, and I'm going to sketch lines where I think the creases are in the curtain. I'm going to use the sketching around this frog. I'm not going to cover the frog with it. I'm just going to kind of where I imagine the curtain might be behind him. That's where I am sketching the lines. Very easy. So now I'm going to also sketch a stage area, a place for him to stand, and the front of the stage. I think that I thought that he would look great on a stage because he looks like he's presenting something. He just looks like needs to be on a stage. So I made it for him. So with these pencils, you can make a puddle with a brush to pencil tip technique and make a little palette there like I did on the right. And that is great to take some of this color from the pencils to use with a brush and watercolor. The other way you can use them is to use a dry pencil and sketch out the colors where you want them, where you want watercolor to be. And so I sketched these curtain lines a little bit with that red pencil when it was more dry. And then I'm going over with a wet brush. And also I'm using the puddle. I'm using both techniques here. I'm using the pencil to the brush technique to make the puddle, and also the sketching in the lines and blending it out with water. So I do that a couple of times. I'm adding a little bit more from top down to get some more red to make it a little darker. And so once that dries, I will add some more outliner lines to just make those lines pop a little more. On the bottom, I have a color pencil, watercolor pencil, and I'm using a brown, or actually it's like a gray shade. And when you add water, you can see that gray comes out real nicely on the bottom. And so then I made a little puddle with that color as well, just to add a little more color. I heat set some of the areas before I add any new watercolor. Now I'm using brown for the stage. I make a little extra brown underneath him to make sort of a shadow. And I just carefully add the watercolor. And the more water you put on it, the easier it is to move around and spread around. And then, of course, that's going to be heat set as well before you move on to the next step. And so after it's heat set, I'm going to go and use that outliner pencil to just reinforce some of those curtain creases there, where I think might be a curtain. And then also for the stage, I'll do that as well. Now I have a black watercolor pencil. It's different than the outliner. This one, when you sketch little sketch lines lightly and you come back with water, it blends out that color just like a watercolor. So here's a very fine watercolor brush I'm using with water, and you can see how beautiful that black pops once water is added. And I do that for each color. Now I just do one color at a time with these pencils just so that they don't bleed into the other colors. And for this case, I don't want them to bleed together. I just want it to be separate sections. I'm doing the same. I'm lightly sketching with the green pencil, and then I'll come back with water for that. Now on the other card I'll show later, that was done with a different color green, more of a darker green, and I thought this would look good also with a more of a lime green. So I just changed up the colors slightly for the stage and for the frog for each card. And the curtain looks a little different on the other card too. So there's so many possibilities to accent these stamps, and that's what I'm showing today. I went ahead and used a die cut from My Favorite Things to cut out this particular card. You can use a paper trimmer just the same. I'm going to add some extra lines with the outline pencil at the bottom of the stage. And then I just place that right onto the card base with foam tape to finish. And here's another card, just an example of another way to do it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you give this a try and share. Thank you again for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and have a great day.